this is part 2 of module 4. So to continue, a lot of the high class members of our community, they are part of the chamber and DBI. And there are exclusive events for those members. So they're kind of the small circle that are usually in the know. Most of those events are held at the Bedford Springs Omni Resort, which again, they have the perks of being members to go to the Omni at a discounted cost. Economic conditions of Chestnut Ridge School District. So a lot of our property is used for farmland. So right now on the market, we have farmland for sale ranging from $200,000 to $2 million. We have a housing development that is near the school, which is about a quarter of a mile away, and it's well known in the community as well. We have a 8% of residents that moved from 2018 to 2019. So that tells you that the majority of the residents do stay at their home or residence for more than 1 year. Agricultural, commerce, and industry and transportation. So we have no like Uber service or train or public transportation in that sense. We do have one taxi that service that's available, but that is not used on a regular basis. Some of the major factories are in manufacturing and labor, so those employees are working to low middle class families. That's what the majority of our community is made up of. Some of the industries and companies that we have locally are Bedford Reinforced Plastics. So that is owned by someone within the community. Obviously, he is more of the high middle class to high class citizen in this area. We have Walmart Distribution Center. We have Captive Air Building Systems, which manufactures the heating systems for restaurants around the country. We have JLG, which manufactures lift services for construction companies. We have Sheets, which for many of you from Kansas, that is like a large gas station chain that we have in our area. I'm not sure if you'd be familiar with it. It also has a lot of made to order foods that it's very popular around here. Everywhere you go, there's a Sheets pretty much. And we also have REI, which is basically a recreational manufacturing company as well. So a lot of different manufacturing and employment opportunities that are available in our area. As far as the government goes, our county commissioners are Josh Lang, Barry Delara, and Deb Bogman. The budget for this year was a little over $11 billion. Our local legislators are Pat Toomey, Robert Casey, Bill Schuster, Wayne Legenhawk, Jesse Topper, and Carl Metzgar. So based on that information, you can see that we are a very Republican and a very conservative community. There are not many women in charge of government agencies or in general and companies in our area. Our local tax, our sales tax is 6%. And our unemployment rate, as I mentioned before, is 4.7, which is above the national average at this time. The average hourly wage for employees is $16.13. The political structure at Chestnut Ridge, so we have our local and our state government agencies and affiliates. Our governor, who is a Democrat, is Tom Wolf. He is right now currently working to create a bill and pass a bill that raises teacher salaries to a minimum of $45 $1,000 a year. That would affect Chestnut Ridge School District because our starting teacher salary is about $10,000 less than that on average. Our school district gets $8,401 per pupil from the government agencies. Chestnut Ridge does or is involved in state and federal grants. One of the grants or foundations that Chestnut Ridge alone has created is the Chestnut Ridge Education Foundation. This is a grant that goes to seniors to help fund different scholarships for them. Part of DBI is also to create grants. One is the Fall Foliage Queen. So that's for females alone. They run, and it's similar to like a beauty pageant, but they ask you questions and such, and you can earn a scholarship ranging from $1,000 to $5,000. So DBI does different things like that. To continue, social tension. So recently on the news nationally, Black Lives Matter movement was marching through the northeastern area, and they stopped at a home within Bedford County, and there was a little bit of a debacle and shots were fired, and one of the members of the Black Lives Matter march ended up in the hospital. So there is definitely social tension dealing with the Black Lives Matter movement. Again, it made national headlines. So something that most of us aren't proud of, but it did happen within our area. There's a very big, strong divide on people's opinions on what they feel is right. But again, it's opinion based. To move on, we do not have any active gangs in our area that I'm aware of, but drugs are a big problem and affect a lot of young people. Our high school does random drug searches, and typically they do find things, so that is definitely an issue. So with a 97% white population, discrimination, I would say, for those who are of a different race, I'd say that it definitely occurs. Not that I am a part of it, but with only 3% of residents being something different, I would say that it would definitely be easy for them to slide through the cracks and their diversity and needs go unnoticed. Cliques within the school, we definitely have cliques. We have families that are part of athletics, the football moms and other sports moms, and if they're part of the PTO, which is the parent committee within the school. Also, those high-class society members, part of DBI, the Bedford Chamber, if they are part and regularly attend events at the Omni, the Bedford Springs. So there's definitely a social economic divide between the working class and the high-class citizens within our community. If you are part of the high class, you're definitely in the know versus if you are low to working class. I would say overall there's no really any religious tension because most of the people in our community, if they're practicing any religion, they are Protestant. There is a divide, or I guess a question over if we should continue to use farmland or if we should sell it off to developers. This has been brought up within the community more than once as to what is the right decision there and what to do. Extra sources of information. So recently in the school board minutes, our superintendent at Chestnut Ridge, he received a few $1,000 raise on his annual salary, which he receives each year. Saying that, our teachers, we have not had our salary increased in over 10 years. So right now we are working on a new renewed contract, and that is a big issue of discussion as to if our administrators can continue to get raises, why as teachers are we not. And that's definitely up for discussion, and there's definitely tension surrounding that issue. Some other sources, so the internet, school records upon request, and telephone books are all available. The Census Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce, state representatives, and county commissioners all are sources of information that can be used and provided to citizens of Chestnut Ridge School District. The power structure, biggest thing I can say here is money speaks. If you have money within the community, you can pretty much be part of any committee or organization, and that goes for the people in the school board as well. If you're involved, the more you're involved, the more power and influence that you tend to have over things. Part of that school board, like I said, there's members on the school board that are wealthy, and they've been on that school board for over 20 years. With that, there's been very little change, and that deals with teacher salary as well. With that low teacher salary, we have one of the lowest teacher salaries within our IU8. With that being said, that makes for a turnover rate that's a little bit higher within our district, I would say, than others because of that salary start being so low. Multicultural issues. So again, we definitely do have a limited multicultural population, but some barriers that may occur would be a language barrier. We have one ESL teacher within our district, but if we had more students, that would definitely become an issue, and I think we would need to hire more ESL teachers. We have limited family engagement opportunities. So at the beginning of the year, we have Meet the Teacher Night for parents to attend. And then the next event doesn't occur again really until the end of the school year. So parents can attend, if they are the parent volunteer for each classroom, attend field trips and the award ceremony night. Other than that, if you're not on the PTO, and you don't have your clearances, you don't have really an opportunity to visit the school or your teachers any other time unless you set up a parent-teacher conference. To continue, so we have limited club opportunities. Most of our opportunities are within the athletic system. So if your child's not athletic, you're most likely not going to be involved with the school at all. A lot of our PTO members, so parent volunteers, their students are involved in athletics within the district. So holiday customs, this is definitely a barrier. We don't necessarily discuss within the district other holidays besides Christmas. Christmas we talk about, but if you are not celebrating Christmas, then you are pretty much looked over, which is definitely a barrier for children and families that have diverse backgrounds. Also, we do have a very strictly enforced dress code. Discussions in the past have been brought up about enforcing an actual specific uniform to be worn, and in the future I do see that occurring. Every morning we say the Pledge of Allegiance, which we currently have no students that opt out of that, so therefore that states that there are no religious really differences within our community there. Some things also that are questionable and that could become a barrier in the future. We have limited vegetarian options as far as our lunch menu goes, and we also serve pork on occasions, which based on your religious backgrounds could be an issue or barrier as well that would need to change. So measuring public opinions. So some positives, a lot of people look at our school district as having great athletics. We were very well prepared for COVID-19. We easily transferred into doing online at March into the end of the school year. To start this school year, we are back in school full-time. High school is doing every other day. So gold group goes, that means that blue group is doing virtual that day, and it's every other based on that. But students from grades K to 12 did have the option through the school of doing the virtual learning academy. So this was the school's way to not lose that income of students going to a different cyber school. So we have grade point average, and we have attendance records that can be measurable of the students opinion of the school as well. Some cons, some families in the past have come to the school board meetings or